So we've got that snow falling in the Rockies this week. A lot of places are going to feel a whole lot cooler as well. Below average temperatures expected, and that could mean bad news for businesses hoping to cash in on some spring retail sales. But for you and I, does that mean a few extra bucks in our wallets? Business weather expert Paul Walsh joins me now to talk about it. Paul, good morning to you. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Kelly.
So how big of an impact are we talking about? Does weather really have on retail sales?
I think a lot of people will be surprised to know that the weather impacts the economy on an annual basis by about $500 billion. And that's not talking about hurricanes and tornadoes. That's just the variation of weather from warmer than normal to cooler than normal. And this time of year, the weather has a particularly strong impact in terms of driving demand and driving sales and driving profits.
500 billion, that's a lot.
Yes.
So what kinds of businesses are hurt the most during this time of year when we see the unseasonal weather?
Well, you mentioned it earlier. Retail in general really doesn't like to have weather conditions that are unseasonal, because this time of year, most of what they're selling is what they call seasonal products. So if it's below normal temperatures, that means people aren't buying them. Therefore, they're losing money. So retail apparel, outdoor lawn and garden products, even some outdoor venues like restaurants and things like that. In terms of where people are going, of course, more people will be going to indoor venues. More people are going to movie theaters and things like that. But overall, this is not the kind of weather businesses generally want on the 1st of May.
So let's talk about the stores. How do businesses deal with these variations in weather?
It's really interesting. More and more businesses are using weather information, weather forecasts, and weather data to understand exactly how the weather impacts their customers, and then using forecasts to get in front of that, to be proactive and to do things differently around their business, like advertising differently and stocking their stores differently, even staffing their stores differently. So weather is becoming a more and more important part of that entire business.
I'm always up for a good sale, Paul. Will this slowdown in spring sales mean lower prices overall?
Yeah, generally what's bad for retailers is good for all of us. So this week and maybe the first 10 days or so of May, where people are not buying as many spring products, that means the inventory will start to pile up on the shelves in the stores. When that happens, retailers have no choice but to start to mark down prices. And it looks like from the weather forecast that will be just in time for some really nice weather by the time we get into the middle of May.
All right, always looking ahead, Paul. Love you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it. And yeah, that's going to be the big story, Reynolds, going forward, just how chilly and how unsettled it's going to be for much of this upcoming week.
Yeah, good information. Always great to have Paul with us. Viewers, it's great.